Leo. Do you follow Karen's daily scopes yet? If not, and wonder what they hold, click the sample link below and listen to both the Astro Scope and Tarot Scope, and get a feel for what you can expect in your love, career, and financial outlook for today.
Hello Leo, this is your March forecast for 2014, and we got 2 new moons this month, which is quite unusual. We had it in January, and we only had 1 moon in February, which was the full moon, and here we go, 2 new moons this month, and this is just shifting that whole cycle around, where we're going to start in the following months now to have the full moon first, and then the new moon at the end of the month. For a long time we've started out the month with new moon first and the full moon second. So it's just shifting gears. And for you right now, this new moon, it's coming on the first day of March, all right? And that's going to be in your 8th house for intimacy. It's also the house of taxes, royalties, commissions, and joint accounts, the money you have with other people. And so this area here, you might be looking over it. It's a month where you might be preparing your taxes, looking into investments and so forth, or also maybe with your partner you're looking to see how you can deepen this area by both your sun being there and the moon being there. So that's your inner and outer being, your conscious and subconscious self coming together and sharing here those things of value between you. And in those very first few hours into that first few couple of days, that the moon will have an inspiration, maybe a revelation, or a vision, something come to the forefront here as the moon, still new, still in its crest, coming into touch with Neptune, which will really open up your emotional self, you know, on those more refined, higher inspirational levels. But it's in the depth of the house of Scorpio, but it's also in that spiritual sign of Pisces. So a lot of water, you know, and then Neptune itself is water. So you might just feel a little emotional here in the sense of longing for something that can complete you. That is in the very, very first couple of days of March. Now, talking about the very beginning of March, well, we have a couple of retrogrades. So listen up for this. Mars will start retrograding also on the 1st, and it will be retrograde to May 20th. For you, this is going to be in the area of communication. We have Saturn on March 2nd, which is going to retrograde all the way to July 20th. So we're talking a few months now where they may go to sleep. That's what we say when they retrograde, they go back over. But don't be fooled though. Retrogrades are by no means the same as no action. But what you will see is that the action now, here starting in March, is going to have you look back over those things that you put in place over this last year. What did you accomplish? What goals did you have? Did you complete them? Or did it move too quickly that you kind of left out details? Did you run over some agreements too quickly without negotiating them deeply enough? For example, so now this is the areas that are going to be worked at and tweaked. And Mars here in the 3rd house is how you're going to communicate and who you communicate with. And Mars being, you know, a fire sign, it might be a little, what should I say, a little blunt, a little, should I say, not thinking too much, perhaps consequentially of actions could come just because it wants out, it wants the energy to expand, but it's feeling like it's being held back a little bit. But it's in the sign of Libra. So this is good. It's going to give you time to balance these scales. Think about Libra always as scales. And in the way you communicate with people, you're going to start monitoring yourself more from above. It's like, okay, how much energy, it's Mars, right? Mars is energy. How much energy am I dedicating and giving out to this person or to this group? And what is coming back? Am I giving too much and getting too little back? That's a no-go, you know, so you'll be tweaking there. If you're feeling that somebody's too aggressive upon you, you know, giving you too much while you're trying to put the brakes on, and this person isn't getting the message, well, then the scales are going to want to kind of level that back up too. And this is where Mars might need to be a little blunt, a little direct, and maybe not always as, shall I say, refined as it could be in Libra as when it's going direct, okay? Because then we always think, oh, I can balance this, I can do this, I got enough energy. But because your energy is slowing down, you won't be able to take on the same mass of, you know, everything coming at you. And you might just feel everything's coming at you that you need to balance. And so Mars might get a little frustrated, but you're going to have time to work this out, because normally Mars takes 6 weeks in this transit through any sign. Here Mars has a full nearly 8 months transit through the sign of Libra. So this is giving you ample time to learn the structure of the new patterns that you are trying to put in place. Now let's just go back December, January, right there at the end of the year, excuse me. There was a lot of energy coming to the surface that wanted to break away from old patterns, correct? And how are you doing about that, by the way? It was more like what you want to hang on to, you're hanging on to it. There's no complications in that matter. But it's those things that you don't any longer want to hang on to, you're wanting to kind of break away and loosen up on it. Now this is coming in and it's going to help you really look at the new grounds as opposed to the old grounds. So there's a major shift of consciousness coming in for you, and it's going to really kind of download, slowly but surely integrate and ingrain itself into this consciousness to the very root of who you are, in the essence of spirit of who you are. And this is thanks to Saturn, because Saturn is also here the day after on March 2nd going retrograde. All right, so Mars is going to be retrograde March 1st to May 20th. Then Saturn's coming in top of the month here March 2nd to July 20th. So we have several months at this. Saturn is going to have you really look at the foundation of your life, who you are, what you want, what you don't want, and you're going to be quite intense because it's in the sign of Scorpio. And so it's really taking you deeply within, down, in, under. You're leaving no stone unturned here. And sure, that can be a workout for some of you. And the retrograde here is helping you flush, okay? You're flushing all the all the things that you've been stuffing. Excuse me. You're flushing all the things that you've been stuffing. And you know, when we're on fast forward motion in our life, we tend to kind of see the things for what they are when they're here, but there's so many other things coming at us that we just, you know, we stuff it or we put it aside. I'll deal with that later, because there's life calling, right? But when everything slows down, nearly to a feeling of a halt, you might feel like, oh my God, here it comes. Not just the wave. Here comes the tsunami right in your face, looking at it. And Saturn's karma, your karmic path, where you have been ever since childhood. You might be looking all the way back to the patterns from those very early years that you had with your mother, with your father, and your siblings, because Mars is in that third house for siblings. And both of them now are helping you look at, helping you weed through. And it's all about wanting to find out what more now needs to be worked at, tweaked, weeded out, and what you want to carry onward. So, see, your life is really transforming deeply, Leo. And that is because Pluto, which is that pivotal point of transformation, it's that point of death of the old, rebirth into the new. What are you rebirthing? You're rebirthing your daily structured life, the way you want your day-to-days look like. And what worked for you in the past when you had tons of energy and maybe your goals, your focuses were different. We evolve, you know, it's like our projects and our priorities change with life. So Pluto's kind of like helping you turn that wheel to look at your priorities today as opposed to 10 years ago or 20 years ago, 2 years ago, right? And so these retrogrades in combination with Pluto is helping you streamline it. So yes, it might be a little workout, but do not fear it. I want you to really embody this, you know, and embrace it and thank it, because you could not come to this transformation without these things going on. So look at this whole year up to July seems like slow because everything that could go retrograde has gone retrograde. We started out with Venus retrograde in January, Mercury retrograde in February, and then here in March, Mars and Saturn. Jupiter had been retrograde for 4 or 5 months, but at least Jupiter is turning direct here this month, March 6th. So that's going to start lifting a little bit that feeling of reconnecting with joy and feeling jovial, all right? So you can start laughing again. It's been a little serious, but in this sense, it's like, yes, you're going to be feeling, you're going to be moving forward with the future vision. That's what Jupiter is all about. And as it's opening up this inner screen inside of your mind, you'll once again be able to see the horizon of your future goals. And I think this might have been hard for some Leos where the horizon just disappeared. And without a horizon, we can get depressed because we don't know where we're going. It's like we're circling. And this Jupiter has been in your 12th house of the subconscious mind, so just circling around and getting nowhere. But as the horizon rises again, where your goals are sitting on this plane, well, then you have navigation. You'll know where you're heading. And in this, now you will start working your Mars and Saturn. So what does this all mean? All these retrogrades, and since they will be moving so slowly and nearly to a halt, that doesn't mean nothing's going to happen. It just means that they're going to be frozen in these areas that are going to be mainly and mostly important to you, so that you have time to work it through and incorporate the new. But this is where the daily scopes come in. The astroscopes, that will show you more on a day-to-day basis, because the fast-moving planets, the Sun, Mercury, and Moon, and especially the Moon moving very quickly, will give you insights of when these planets will activate and be stronger, because they're not going to be on all the time to July. They will have periods where they're on and then they slow down or they quiet a little bit in between so you can breathe. So the daily astroscopes give you insight, what's up today, and what planets are being triggered, which ones are now where you can have a little peace and rest a little bit. And then the taroscopes give you more of an insight of who's coming into your life today. You know, we're looking more at the day-to-day romantic sides of life, your financial situation, your career. It shows what people will show up, you know, and so independently they work great, but together they complement each other because the information is different. The astroscopes are practical alignments of the planets, and the planets are talking. But in the taroscopes, we have more the personal, spiritual insights. It's more like running a movie on your inner screen to see what's taking place. So they're exciting too. But back to these major areas. So you've got the third house communication, with whom you communicate, how you communicate. Also maybe short distance travel here in March. And between March and May, excuse me. And then we have Saturn. It's the area of the home, the past, your roots, patterns that came in early childhood, which you have subconsciously been programmed to follow, and you're still acting, you know, on automatic pilot, that you react how you were taught. But Saturn's saying, do I really need to still react to those old programmings? Or do I have a choice? Do I have free will? Yes, I do have free will, and since I have free will, I am now mature, and I'm going to be creating my own programming, how I want to feel about myself, my past, the history, the talent, skills, and abilities that has been genetically given to me that I now can start developing. That's what Saturn wants to give you in this time that it's going to be spending here. to July. Then we also have Venus. Venus has been in the sign of Capricorn since December, and Venus is what you appreciate. Venus is also love and romance, but it's also your money and your finances. And in this area of the 6th house, well, you have been looking at how you want to streamline your daily life. Has it been good enough? Once again, you know, Mars is asking, what is too much? What is too little? You know, where have I been spending my time? Have I been dedicating too much time here, getting me nowhere? Where actually I want to be doing this over here. Well, Venus has been giving it to you. Its message has been, believe and trust in those things you love, those things you dedicate your love and passion to, because this is what's going to give you joy, not just now, but in years to come. And this is why it's been spending not just a month. You know, normally it transits, you know, a few weeks, but it's been here for nearly 3 months, so that you could really get in touch with the in-depth structure of your own needs. You know, Venus feeds our needs, you know, so it's the ruler of that 2nd house of values. So you're looking at what you're valuing, and Pluto has been telling you over these 2 to 3 months, what do you want to let go of? You know, what doesn't work for you? And then, of course, here January, end of December, January, we had, you know, these oppositions and crosses. You know, we had a major situation going on there where it was just very frustrating for very many, but now it's starting to sort itself out, so you can see why these energies were so intense, because now it's starting to come together. Venus is going to move this area from this area of your day-to-day needs, and it's going to start focusing on partnerships and love and the way you work one-on-one with people and relate to them, and it's going to be in an easier and happier notion rather than the seriousness that it's been here in Capricorn. Okay, so let's just talk a little bit about these planets from the top of the month. We have the Sun and Jupiter. They are trine, beautiful angle. For you, it's coming from your 8th house and to your 12th house. So that's water signs. That's your intuition coming up to the surface. It's you honing in on now starting to want to kind of spread your wings again. Now, March 1st, Jupiter is still retrograde, but it slowed down to a halt, and it stopped nearly because it's stationary, and it will move forward from March 6th. But these two still, even though Jupiter is retrograde, it's a beautiful day here on the 1st. Then perhaps some of your goals are going to be lined up for you on your horizon, so you might feel that, oh my God, I'm back to it. I can see where I'm heading, you know, so there's that anticipation, that excitement that Jupiter has. And then you might just, on the 2nd of March, be a little skeptical. It's like, well, can I really do this now or what? But that's not going to linger more than one day. Those doubts that you might have with the square between Venus and Mars, I see as just passing really quickly. Why? Because the Sun, the essence of you, will be coupled up with Pluto, and Pluto is coming in here with the 6th house, and it will eliminate whatever doubt you have, and it will say, oh yes, you can do this. If this is what you want, I will give it to you. I will support you, because Venus has just been visiting. We know all about the passions, the longings, the needs, the wants of security and love and money, and how all of those things can come into you. We've just visited that for 3 months, so I'm going to give you the green light. You will have no doubt that you are already on the new path here by the 3rd. And then Venus is leaving here on the 5th, this area into your 7th house. All partnerships, anything one-on-one. It could be you starting up a new partnership, and in that case, it should be good. And relationship-wise, as far as love, well, this is a beautiful area to have Venus, because you're just interacting very romantically here. You're smiling, you're happy, you're all in, what should I say, happy balance. This Venus is now going to be picking up a beautiful trine to Mars. So you'll see how your relationships are going to start now growing and expanding towards something that's going to feel really good. Don't sign anything on March 11th. There might just be a talk coming in that just feels like, nope, it's a no-go. Somebody might just suggest something to you, pitch you something, and it might sound good in their ears, but if it doesn't resonate with you, don't go there. I see that you're not feeling it. It's not resonating here. And that is where the seat of intuition lies. It's not your mind. But then we have the 13th and 14th. We have the Sun beautifully aligned with Saturn. Saturn is saying that now it's time to move forward in this area. Let's do some digging and deep work as far as those old term patterns from the past, where you got sucked in to behave a certain way, to act and react a certain way. The old programming we're talking about, you know, that autopilot. Well, today you're going to go, I don't really need to do that because this is what I choose. It's all about consciousness. It's about choosing, knowing. Remember, Saturn is also karma. And so it rules the programming from the past, but it also rules the ability to incorporate new structures of free will, because that's the next planet out from Saturn, which is Uranus, is all about free will, right? So it's that rainbow bridge between Saturn and Uranus, how to get to that next stage and free, but you have to liberate. Dare to take that leap to move out of the old structure. And that can be scary for some, but you know what? When you take that leap of faith and you really take that divine jump into Uranus, you love it. You just love it, because you are in fact a new radiant and energetic being. And so you'll see here on the 14th, there is some communication coming in, kicking into action. Has to do with Mercury and Mars. This has to do maybe with a phone call with somebody at distance, perhaps. Not necessarily, but it could be. Mercury here is now communicating the insight, the instantaneous insight, maybe too, a flash of communication here that you could see really work, because what you're doing right now here, this portion here of March until the 17th, is tweaking, working, and negotiating with this potential new partner so that you can prepare yourself for what Mercury is going to do after the 17th, when it moves into the 8th house of intimacy, and now getting into the finer details of this relationship, which will be more intense, okay? And then you're going to be seeing what you're going to be sharing there. So from the 18th onwards, Mercury has already moved into Pisces, your 8th house. It's a water house. It's very sensitive. It's emotional. It's spiritual. It's telepathic. Okay, because you're having this fine-tunement with your partner, but it's also the area of those things that you share together. It could be your money. It could be other valuables that you have. It could be intentions and ideas. It could be plans that you want to look into a joint venture of, perhaps. And it's also, of course, the house of taxes and investments and so forth. So you might have to, you know, stir around in that pot a little bit too here, the rest of the month. But then we have unexpected surprises from Venus in the area now of your 7th house with Uranus. And this is love. It's your relationships. It's the excitement that will come out here with Uranus. And Uranus for you is in the 9th house. So maybe you're going to plan some trip, perhaps. Maybe you will have some revelation of some higher thinking, or sharing some higher perceptions of more the spiritual, metaphysical. You might feel that it might surprise you if your partner hasn't been thinking along those lines before. You know how they can call it like the woo-woo or the mojo or whatever. But maybe, you know, your partner now is like really seeing the light. You know, and that will actually really help you be able to evolve and expand in this area, knowing that he or she now is climbing on board. So whatever that surprise will be for you, it could be, you know, one thing for one of you and something else for the other of you. So, but we have a divine inspired day on the 22nd when Mercury and Neptune coming together. I see some insight, might be a spiritual revelation in the area of intimacy, okay? You might just feel that something is recharged here in a sense where it's going to elevate you. And the 26th, Mercury and Jupiter, great communication, good agreements. Jupiter is moving forward now, picking up speed and finalizing. It's getting ready to get out of that 12th house, not quite yet, but it's getting out of where you've been needing to be behind the scenes because you've been tired. You've been, your energy's been like that because you were so busy first 7-8 months of 2013. So you have needed your time to kind of just recharge. You're still recharging, but now it's more like, okay, you're preparing to get out of it. You've recharged maybe enough where you want to get back into, the loop of life again. So really nice last few days. The 28th, Mercury and Pluto also coming together with an agreement that seems pretty solid. And Venus, Saturn too, with a golden trine on the 29th. So that's love and it's security and it's your partner and it's home and family life and maybe talking about, are we going to stay at your place, my place, or how can we create our space into something now that feels more secure. So a lot of things to work through here, Leo, and I think you're going to enjoy Mars because it's really reopening the door there with Jupiter as it's slowing down a little bit on other planes for several months. But don't be fooled, there's still action and activity coming in. So do listen to your moon and your rising sign, and I will catch up with you next month. Bye now.
Do you follow Karen's daily scopes yet? If not, and wonder what they hold, click the sample link below and listen to both the Astroscope and Tarot Scope, and get a feel for what you can expect in your love, career, and financial outlook for today.